If the USD CAD spot rate is 1.5011 and the USD CAD forward rate is 1.4413, then the forward discount is closest to. Let's bring in our forward discount formula. That discount, it's going to be similar to calculating just a normal rate of return as well. So we're going to take forward rate minus spot. So you could think of this as your ending investment minus your beginning investment, and then dividing by beginning investment again. So beginning being spot, forward rate being ending. And when we work that through, we get 1.4413 minus 1.5011 divided by 1.5011 gives us a minus 0.0398, or just under 4% negative return. Answer A. An analyst wishes to assess if the economy is moving out of a recession and into the expansion phase, is most likely looking for. So if we're moving out of a recession and into expansion, what we're going to be looking for is something that's implying more economic activity. When we're in a recession, there's not a lot of economic activity going on, but then when we go into expansion, we should expect economic activity to pick up significantly. So we'd be looking for A, deceleration in the rate of inflation. We would be looking for an acceleration in rate of inflation due to more economic activity. So A would be incorrect. B, an upturn in expenditures for housing and consumer durables. That certainly indicates more economic activity. More spending is good for coming out of a recession. And C, a decline in average consumer expectations for business and economic growth. If we have lower expectations, it's going to be less likely for businesses and consumers to spend. And so that in and of itself would likely lead to less or not an increase in economic activity. So we can rule out C and confidently go with answer B. The process of interactions and integration among people, companies, and governments worldwide is most likely referred to as A, cooperation, B, globalization, or C, standardization. So standardization is going to be more so what it says right there, standardizing certain processes or technical standards across the globe. Maybe that's whether it's environmental related or trade related. But this is more so referring to interactions, integration among all these different things. So between then globalization and cooperation, you certainly need cooperation in order to do all of this that's mentioned, to interact and integrate all these different entities and people and companies. However, globalization is going to be our technical term here. And we'll rule out A, go with answer B. Jennifer Hollanda is a long-term trader who purchased a Petroco share at the price of $50 at the beginning of the year. Assuming that the share price increased to 100 in the first year, decreased to 50 in the second year, decreased to 25, and increased to 50 in the third and fourth years, respectively, the geometric mean return of Petroco share is closest to. So let's bring this in, how we're going to calculate this. So essentially what this ends up looking like is all these different returns compounded for 4 years, and then we're going to take that to the fourth root, and then we're going to subtract 1 to get our answer here. So we've got 100 divided by 50. That's going to give us our first return. Since we started at 100, we started at 50, we ended at 100. And then we decreased to 50 in the second year. So our return there will be 50 divided by 100. So we gained 100%, then we lost 50%. Then we lost 50% again when we went down to 25. But then we increased again by 100% by going up to 50. So that's going to equal 1. And then we're going to take that to the fourth root and then subtract 1 to get our overall return, which gives us 0. Answer A. And without going through all this math, we can kind of eyeball this to see it's right by seeing, okay, we had $50 at the beginning and then we have $50 at the end. So what is our compounded rate of return? It can't be 50 or 100% because we ended with the same amount that we started with. Answer A. If the currency exchange rate between the USA and Europe is USD Euro 1.11 and the rates between the UAE and the USA is 3.3 AED USA, then the exchange rate of AED per euro is closest to. So our AED per euro is going to be equal to AED over USD, which we're given at 3.3, and then we're multiplying that by USD euro, which we're given at 1.11. And the key here when you're doing exchange rates is always you want to get the currency in the middle that you want to get rid of. So we want to end with AED euro. So we want to make sure the USD, which is what we want to cancel out, we want that in the middle. So at the end here, when we multiply this through, what ends up happening is we get rid of USD and then we end up with AED euro. So we multiply these through, we get 3.6633. Answer C. Richards would like to determine the ability of her regression model to generate price forecasts. She identifies 3 factors which may be useful in developing a prediction interval. There's actually 4 factors here, but we'll take a look at all of them. Factor 1, variance of mean construction costs equals 27.9. Variance of mean forecasted projected price equals 18.35. Factor 3, mean construction costs equal 98.54. And factor 4, correlation between mean construction costs and mean forecasted price equals 0.75. Which of the following factors will most likely be required to construct a prediction interval? Is it factor 1, 2, or 4? So we're not going to be looking at factor 1. So let's take a look at these others. So we have the variance of mean construction costs versus variance of mean forecasted project price, and the correlation. And our regression model is we're determining the ability to generate price forecasts. Okay, so when we're looking at constructing a prediction interval, we're going to be doing this based on the mean of the construction costs. So we're going to be looking at factor 1. We're not going to be looking at the variance of the projections. And the correlation is also not going to factor into our calculation. We're going to be using variance of the mean to identify what type of confidence interval we might fall into. Answer A. Which of the following is most likely a coincident economic indicator? Coincident meaning that when the economy is going up, this indicator is also going to be going up right in tandem with it, or vice versa going down. Whereas a lagging or leading, a lagging would show up after the economy downturn. So if the economy went up like this, our lagging variable would look more like something like this, and then it would go up after. Leading would tell us ahead of time. So given that, let's take a look at these. So we've got A, CPI. CPI is going to be lagging, and that's because what's going to happen is higher or economic activity is going to lead to the higher inflation because of the high demand, and vice versa. So when demand slows down, that's going to lead to inflation decreasing because there was more demand. So that's not going to be coincident. That's going to be lagging. B, the consumer confidence index. This one tends to be a leading indicator, meaning that when confidence goes up, that leads to more spending, which will then lead to higher economic activity. So it tends to be more of a leading indicator, and vice versa. If confidence goes down later on, then we could expect activity might decrease. And so economic indicators like GDP or economic data points like GDP, we would expect to be lower. So we've got C, personal income minus transfer payments. This is going to be coincident because if we have more income in the moment, we're going to be spending more. If we have less income in the moment, we're going to be spending less. So this should be coincident or coincide with the economic activity right now. Answer C. Which of the following conditions would least likely need to be present for a large country to increase its welfare by imposing a tariff? So least likely need to be present, meaning 2 of these will need to be present to increase our welfare by imposing a tariff. So A, its trading partner does not retaliate. This would need to be present, so we can rule this out. If we impose a tariff on another country, but then that other country just imposes a tariff on us, on other goods, that's really going to cancel out this benefit. And so them not retaliating is what would help us because that's going to bring in more tariff revenue. B, the exporter reduces the price of its goods. This is likely going to be our answer since this wouldn't need to be present. If the exporter is reducing the price of its goods, this is going to be a reaction to the country that imposed the tariff. And so this isn't needed to increase welfare, since tariffs are going to be on importers or on imports coming in. And C, the deadweight loss from the tariff is smaller than the benefit in terms of its trade. And that will certainly be needed if we impose a tariff, but we have this deadweight loss that creates more of a loss than it does in terms of the income that we're bringing in from the tariff, then that's obviously not going to increase our welfare. So that is also going to be a condition that's needed and leads us to answer B. Which of the following characteristics is least likely to describe monopolistic competition? So least likely, meaning two of these will describe it and one will not. And remember, monopolistic competition is when there are a lot of competitors, but they do have, making it similar to perfect competition, but there are some characteristics that make it more monopolistic, being differentiation between products. So they're relatively similar or could be substitutes, but there is differentiation that makes products or the competitors unique. So we've got A, high barriers to entry, B, large number of independent sellers, or C, differentiated and innovative products. So this obviously falls in with what I just mentioned. This will describe monopolistic competition, so we can rule it out. There's going to be differentiated and innovative products, and that's kind of the monopolistic portion of this competition. We've got B, large number of independent sellers. That will also be indicative of, these two really go hand in hand. There's a large number of sellers and they have differentiated and innovative products among them, which is what leads to this monopoly characteristic. And C, high barriers to entry, that will be our answer. There are a large number of sellers because there are low barriers to entry, so that's why that does not describe this type of competition. Answer A. Recovery from a recession is most likely preceded by. So when we're looking at economics questions like these, always think of it, I think, in terms of, will this lead to more economic activity or less in the future? And so when we're thinking about recovering from a recession, if we need to recover, we need to look for something that's likely going to be telling us increased economic activity is coming. Otherwise, we're just going to stay in the recession and have low economic activity. So we've got A, a reduction in building permits in manufacturers' new orders for capital goods. Reduction in these is what we would expect more at the peak, as we're going to be going into a slowdown. This is not going to lead to more economic activity. It's going to lead to less. And so we can rule out A. B, an increase in average weekly hours. That sounds good so far. And a reduction in average weekly unemployment insurance claims. So that's also good. If we have less unemployment insurance claims, that means more people are employed, less people are unemployed, and that's likely going to lead to more economic activity because companies are producing more and then more workers are working, so they have more money to spend. So it's kind of a positive feedback loop there. So B is probably going to be our answer. Let's make sure we can rule out C. A reduction in the average duration of unemployment. So that's going to be a good thing for our recovery. And a reduction in consumer credit outstanding to personal income. That is not going to be a great indicator. If we're reducing our credit outstanding, that means that we're not spending as much, so that's not going to lead to more economic activity, essentially. Answer B.